Hello there and welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. So I got my Sephora order in the mail and I cannot wait to try everything out. I of course won't be able to apply everything because I did pick up some multiples in certain categories, kind of like blush. I think I have maybe 3 blushes sitting here behind me on this little dresser thing. So I will of course be swatching everything. I'm going to include timestamps for you below because I'm going to do like the little haul, swatch stuff, then of course the application. And at the end of this video, because Iris and Romeo are sold at Sephora, I'm going to be doing a little kind of speed review at the end because they did send me a couple of products in PR, but I'm saving it for the end because I know not everyone likes to hear reviews on PR makeup, which is understandable, so I'm going to put that at the very end of the video in case you're interested and kind of want some thoughts on those products. So the first thing I'm going to talk about here is a couple of eye products here. Well, now one of them is like a multitasker product, so that can be used on your eyes, cheeks, and lips, so we'll get to that one in just a second, but I did end up picking up one of these palettes from Patrick Ta. This is the Major Dimension Essential Artistry Edit Eyeshadow Palette. Of course, I did pick up the light version. His packaging is very, very reflective, so I'm going to go ahead and open this palette up, and we have these 6 beautiful matte shadows. I'm so sorry about the glare. It's wanting to kind of make the screen dark a little bit, so I'm hoping you can see the shades right there. I of course will be doing swatches in just a second on this palette so you can see all of the shades, but was this palette absolutely necessary? No, of course not, but I have really been loving wearing all matte eyeshadows and then placing a shimmer shade over the top. So I saw this one and just, I don't know, I thought it was very, very pretty. Now, I know that if you have his Major Dimension, I think it's the 3rd one, that's an all matte palette that he released, and then there's 2 cream shadows. I never picked up that palette because I don't really like cream eyeshadows in palettes. There's nothing wrong with the formula itself, but I much prefer something like this that is just an all matte palette right by itself. I like that it's compact, that it's just 6 shadows. So we're going to go ahead and do some swatches here on camera, and I'm going to just live swatch these with you here so you can see the shades in action. Now keep in mind these are not going to be the best swatches because I'm looking at these through just a viewfinder, so let me see if I can kind of fix these a little bit. Okay, so there are the first 2 shades in the palette. Okay, let me fix those. It's so hard to swatch things because I'm just looking in a teeny little viewfinder on the top of my camera here. So there are those shades. They swatch very nicely. They're very smooth. Those 2 look very, very similar to each other. Like there's a slight tone difference in person, but not by much. So I feel like they're probably going to look very similar on the eyes. Okay, you know what? Since you've seen them, I'm going to just swatch these last 2. Just looking at my hand since you've seen these apply. Okay, so there are all 6 shades in this palette. This is a stunning palette. I love neutrals, it is no secret. This is the kind of palette that I reach for on a daily basis that I really love and enjoy. And I have really been loving like using just one matte shadow, like a one and done all over the lid, and then applying a separate shimmer shade over the top, whether it's from another eyeshadow palette or if it's from an actual single shadow that's just sparkly. So that's where these next 2 products come in. These are also from Patrick Ta. These are his Major Dimension Eye Illusion eyeshadow duos. I know these are very polarizing. Some people really love them, and some people are like, absolutely not. They are $42 for these little duos, and I am aware of how expensive that is. However, I will say, I have 3 shades from the original group that he released, and I love them. I think they are absolutely stunning on the eyes. They're beautiful. I think that if you're going to buy one, I think getting it on sale is the way to go. And all of mine have been purchased through the Sephora sale. I picked up 2 of the new shades that he just recently released. I think he released 4 new ones. I picked up 2 of them. I'm going to tell you, I really am thinking about placing another Sephora order and purchasing the rest of these because I really do enjoy them. And they are exactly what I'm looking for right now with my eyeshadow preferences. Like this is exactly what I've been reaching for. So of course these look like this. They're very reflective, so I'm just going to open them up. I have the one called In Your Dreams, which I'm hoping won't reflect too badly so you can see the shades. Of course, I will be doing some swatches here in just a second. And then the other one I picked up is Slow Burn, which are these beautiful like pinky kind of burgundy tones. I believe he does call it like more of these burgundy tones, Hoping you can kind of see that. So I've wanted to swatch these alongside his matte shades. So let me go ahead and swatch the In Your Dreams one first. Ooh, that feels like way more sparkly, kind of a little bit more of a chunky sparkle than his other duos that I have. You can see them. So let me swatch that right here. Oh yeah, these are a lot more sparkly than the other ones. So if you're into the sparkles, of course, I will say that this sparkle is probably going to go absolutely everywhere. I'm hoping it's focused. Don't focus on me. They are gorgeous, but something tells me that, yeah, the sparkle would probably go all over your face. I don't really mind that. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, but I understand it bothers some people. So I don't know if a glitter primer would help or anything. I'm not sure. I've never used one, but wow, that is stunning. And oh, I cannot wait to put one of them over these matte shadows. I just know that's going to be beautiful. And of course we have Slow Burn. Yeah, that feels like the same way, like a little bit more sparkly. Now the deeper shade in this one doesn't feel as sparkly. It feels like a little bit much more of a smoother formula. This one is definitely very, very sparkly. But we have these two and then these two, but oh, they're so beautiful. These are lovely. I know that they're incredibly expensive. Yeah, they're very expensive. $42 for a duo? But I try to buy them on sale, and I really want all of the shades of these. I think they're stunning on the eyes. In fact, I created a look the other day with, let's see, let me grab it right here. This is one of his older ones that's like a beautiful pinky duo, and I love that look. I really want to recreate it for my channel because I just loved it so very much. It was so beautiful and pink and sparkly. And of course, it was kind of a process to get it though, because I used a bunch of steps to get there. Like I started with an eyeshadow stick, eyeshadow palette, and then such forth. But the end result was very, very pretty. But there we have all of the Patrick Ta eyeshadows. I mean, these are absolutely stunning. This right here is what I want every single day, forever. Okay, the next thing I picked up, this is kind of, I'm going to swatch it with these because it can be used as an eyeshadow. This is from Danessa Myricks. This is one of her Color Fix, let's see, Matte Liquid Pigment. Multi-use makeup for eyes, face, and lips. I picked up the shade Bunny, which is this beautiful pink. I have tried one of these in the past, but it was a long time ago, and it was a shade that for me would only be used on the eyes, but this is a shade that I feel like I could actually use on the eyes, cheeks, and lips. It's such a beautiful pink shade. These are incredibly pigmented. I have already swatched this one just when I got my package, so I'm going to just put the teeniest little dot right here. See, even that was probably way too much because these are so pigmented. See, now you see that teeny little dot right there. Okay, now look at the pigment from just that one little teeny dot. But that shade is absolutely beautiful, and I just want to put that all over the eyes. I want to put it on the cheeks. I want to put it on the lips. I think it's the most beautiful pinky tone ever, and I've always wanted it, and I decided that during the sale, I was going to pick it up. Now, I will say, I swatched this the other day on my arm when I got my package in the mail. When that dries down, it sets. It does not budge. It will not move. I had to use micellar water to remove it off of my hand, the swatch, because it was not going anywhere with just plain water. But, I mean, here are all of the, I'm just going to include this with this group because I am planning to use it on the eyes too. Not today though, because I really want to use these Patrick Ta eyeshadows, but I just wanted to show you that shade with these because I can use it on the eyes. I mean, this is just stunning. This is so beautiful. All of these products are absolutely lovely, just so pretty to look at, and those sparkle shades. I wish you could see them in person. They are absolutely so beautiful. And since we're talking about eyes and stuff, I did pick up the Makeup by Mario Master Mascara. This one is in his brown shade, which he calls the perfect brown. I love this mascara. I have it in the black shade and love it. It is a good, well-rounded mascara. Just want to show you the packaging. This is really beautiful chocolate brown packaging. This is such a good mascara. I'm hoping the brown will be just as good as the black, of course. I'm sure it will be. Now, I will say that for me with the black shade, I'm not sure if there's any kind of formula change when it comes to changing the shade of the mascara. At least with that one, it was better once it dried out a little bit because initially it was a little bit more of a wet mascara, but once it dried out, it became such a good, solid mascara. It gave me length, it gave me volume. It really kind of gave a little bit more drama. I don't know about the brown shade. We will see. I'm going to be applying this one today, but I wanted to show you that too while we're here talking about like the eye products. Okay, so I might still have some Rogue Sparkle on my hand even though I use micellar water, so just keep that in mind when I'm swatching the next couple of products. First we're going to talk about blush, and then we're going to go into the few lip products that I picked up. I of course had to pick up more shades of these from Glossier. These are the Cloud Paint Plush Blush, and I picked up the shade Gale and Bloom. I have the shade Puff and love it so very much. I in fact mentioned it in my Sephora sale recommendations because this is one of the best blushes I've tried recently. Honestly, this is another blush that I would love to have all of them. I think they are absolutely beautiful. So first, we have the shade Gale, and I love how the packaging kind of matches the blush on the inside. This is the shade Gale. And then we have the shade Bloom, which is this beautiful pink shade with the beautiful pink packaging. And there we have the shade Gale and the shade Bloom. They are beautiful. And one thing I love about Gale, I feel like for me and my skin tone, I probably could use that as a bronzer. I just think it's such a beautiful shade. Gale, I think, was the shade I mentioned, I think in my Sephora recommendations video that I really wanted to pick up. But then I also saw the shade Bloom, which is this beautiful pink, and I wanted to pick that up as well. I do really love pink. It's my favorite color. So you can see I'm wearing this pink sweater. And then I even have these cute little pink deer earrings. These earrings are actually new right now at Walmart because I saw them yesterday when I was there. So if you wanted a pair of these, they have them there now. Now, the last blush I picked up is in actually a little set. This is from Patrick Ta. This is the Patrick's Glow and Gloss gift set in Ice Me Down. This cute little set. There were two different ones you could purchase. Now, the last time I checked, these were both out of stock. They sold out the first day of the sales. So I am so glad that I was actually able to pick this set up. Now, I only picked up the lightest version. I think the other blush and gloss were a little bit deeper, but of course I wanted this one because I love this shade. The blush is in the shade Out of Office, and look at these tones. They are absolutely beautiful. These are very pigmented though. I'm not sure if this shade is or not because I can't think the shade he has, Not Too Much, I believe is the shade name. I really love that one because it wasn't as pigmented as some of his others. But I mean, even if this is extremely pigmented, I do not care because I'm still going to be using it. It is such a beautiful shade. There is the cream blush and there's the powder blush. It definitely looks a lot more lighter than his other blushes as far as the pigmentation. So that might honestly work in my favor with my skin tone, but it's so beautiful. So beautiful. And then the other product you get in here is one of his Major Volume Hydrating High Shine Lip Gloss. This one is in the shade Ice Me Down. I have never tried one of his glosses before. Look how stunning that is. It is so beautiful. So let me swatch that right here because the next two products that I'm going to mention are also lip products. So we can just swatch everybody at the same time. Ooh, that is pretty. It's like a kind of pinky clear, but it is filled with the sparkle. I am so hoping you'll be able to see that. I don't know if you can or not. It is so gorgeous. Wow. That is really beautiful. That's probably going to be the gloss I'm going to use today because I've never used his glosses before. Because keep in mind, a lot of these products here, I have tried them before. These are just new shades. And then the last two products I picked up are both lip products. I finally picked up one of these Glossier Balm.coms. This is the Sparkling Rosé one. I believe this one is limited edition for the holidays. I'm not sure. I have already tried this one off camera. It is definitely like a pinky clear with a little bit of sparkle in it. It does, when you smell it in the actual tube, it smells so good. It smells like a candy, and it does have an applicator like this in case you've never tried one of these before because this was my first time ever trying one, but I'd always heard good things. It's kind of like a thick formula. So you do have to kind of squeeze a little bit to get it out of that tube. And it is that right there. I'm hoping you can kind of see that. It's like a pinky clear and it does have some sparkle in it. I have already tried this one off camera. Of course, I'm just doing the swatches right now and I will be applying this as some lip prep in just a second and I will give you kind of my initial thoughts on it. And I did end up picking up the new shade of the Charlotte Tilbury Big Lip Plumpgasm. This one is in the shade Strawberry Chocolate. I have all the other shades of these from Charlotte Tilbury and I really do enjoy them, so when I saw she had a new shade, of course I wanted to pick it up. It looks like this right here, this beautiful gold packaging this pink gloss. I already know I love these. This is no secret. They do kind of have a cooling slash tingly feeling to them. That's the best way I know how to describe it. And it's kind of another one that's like a pinky clearish with sparkle. I really love glosses like that. I've come to find that out about myself, but that is it right there on the bottom. They're just so pretty and sparkly and glossy, and I've just been really loving products like that. I've just been loving these pinky clears and then have sparkle in them because honestly they make such a big impact on the lips, especially if you're wearing like a pretty little lip liner that's kind of like My Lips But Better shade, and then apply one of these over the top. So beautiful. Of course, I mean, they're beautiful over any lip liner. So there are all the cheek and lip products that I have here. So now we're going to get started on the actual application of these products. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start out is lip prep, and I am going to use this product from Glossier. Now, I will say, when I used it the other day, I might have applied too much of it. That is always a possibility because it is a thicker balm. It felt very comfortable on the lips. That's not the issue, but where my issue arose is when that taste went into like my mouth and I could feel it all the way like to the back of my throat. It was an unpleasant taste. It smells good. Like when you smell it out of the tube, it smells nice, and maybe I applied too much of it, so I'm going to try not to squeeze out too much, and let's see. Because it's so nice and comfortable on the lips. See, like I can already just feel it. Even though I have not even like touched my lips with any part of the inside of my mouth. I can taste it and I don't like it. But I'm going to try to move past it because the actual product, the formula is very nice. It's very comfortable on the lips. And even though there is sparkle in this, I don't feel any kind of like grittiness or anything like that. And the sparkle is very subtle, so it's not going to be like over the top glitter. I love everything about this except for that. So I just wanted to mention that, and I don't know if all of them are like that or if it's just this particular scent. I'm assuming all of them have their own scent. I don't know, but it's very, that part is unpleasant, but I'm hoping I can move past it because the product itself is really nice. We are definitely going to be using this Patrick Ta palette. It's so reflective. That's the only thing I don't like about his packaging. The packaging is beautiful and it feels luxe. It feels nice. It's kind of a little bit of weighted, but that reflection is just killing me. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this shade right here in the palette. I have already set down my eyeshadow primer while I'm wearing a concealer. I am wearing the Iris and Romeo stuff on my complexion, but we're going to talk about that at the end of the video. But I'm going to take that on this concealer brush from Rare Beauty, and I'm going to apply that all over the lid. We're going to further set down that concealer. I did place a powder over it already, but this is the way I would use a shade like this in an eyeshadow palette. And of course to blend out the edges of other eyeshadows. You know, when I first saw these, I wasn't that interested, but honestly, the more I saw them on the Sephora app, the more I wanted one. And then because of my preferences with eyeshadow lately, honestly, between this palette and then of course his little sparkly duos, that's just really what I've been wanting right now. And I've also been getting more into using liquid eyeshadows or eyeshadow sticks as basis for my powder shadows, and I have really been enjoying that as well. In fact, that's what I did when I was mentioning that look that I created that was pink that I used one of his original duos for. I really, really love that look. But this was a palette that I knew I wanted to pick up on sale. I don't know if I would have paid full price for it or not. I'm not saying anything against the formula, I just meant just personal preference. Because at the end of the day, it is a neutral palette, but I mean, as long as it performs well today, then I'm happy to have it. So now on a Sigma E54, I am going to start with this shade right here in the palette. I don't know if I'll be able to use all 6 shades, but I'm going to do my best to use as many as I can. Now, there is a lot of kick up in the pan, but they're very softly pressed, but that doesn't bother me, but I like to mention it in case it does bother someone else if you were looking at these palettes and considering them. But look, there are more affordable neutral eyeshadow palettes. In fact, there's the one I have from Milani that's like a 6-pan. I believe that one's a 6-pan as well, or 6 or 7-pan. It's an all matte neutral palette. I think it's called Whiskey Business. That's a beautiful neutral palette from the drugstore. And I want to say that little palette is like $10. So of course you can get these types of products at a more affordable price point. No, it might not be the same formula, but it's going to give you the same look. But just going back to this palette and this palette alone, it is performing beautifully. See, that shade is basically already blended out, is absolutely just stunning. See, this is the type of makeup that I want in my collection. I don't mean high-end, I just mean like these types of products. I want my neutrals, I want beautiful neutral palettes that I can rely on, that I know are going to give me beautiful looks. I want just nice performing eyeshadow in my collection. I mentioned in a previous video that I am thinking about doing an eyeshadow palette declutter at more like at the beginning of the year. It's not something that I really want to deal with right now at the end of the year with all the holidays and stuff coming up. You know, things get busy, things get hectic. But I don't know, some of these eyeshadow palettes that I've been getting lately and using, kind of like the Natasha Denona, her new Eye Sculpt palette, I really love that palette. And it's just kind of making me see the certain eyeshadows that I'm looking for that I want. And of course that's neutral stuff, of course, but I mean just formulas in general, like how the ease of applying products and stuff too. I don't want makeup that's just going to give me a hard time, you know, like where you really have to work with it. I want something that's just going to be good straight out. See, that is absolutely beautiful. See, that is a shade that I would apply all over the lid and the crease and everything, and then apply a shimmer over the top, and I'd be good to go. Of course, we're going to use a little bit more in this palette. I will say these two middle shades, there is only just a slight difference between the two of them. There's really not that much difference at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brush, and I'm just going to dip back and forth between them like that. And I'm going to apply these on this outer half of my lid. These are applying so nicely. I'm barely having to blend them. They're really nice formula. I'm just adding a very touch of depth to this outer portion because if you've been watching my videos for a while, you will know that I very rarely wear dark eyeshadow. Sometimes I do, and I'm not against it at all because I think those looks are absolutely stunning, but just in general, I tend to use deeper shades as liner. So that's what I'm going to be doing today with the deepest shade in this palette. And see, that just gives me just a touch of something, but I'm going to be going over this with one of his little sparkly duos, but I just wanted to show this palette in action by itself. Because this is, even though I've tried his matte formula in the past, this is still a newer item to me, whereas I know his duos have been around for a little while. Yes, he has new shades, but the duos themselves have been around. These are very softly pressed, so there is quite a bit of kick up in that pan. But if you tap your brush off, it's no trouble at all. See, I think that is stunning. It's just the perfect eye look for me. That's what I want. That's what I've been going for. Now, I am going to go back into this lightest shade right here on that brush. I'm just going to be using that same brush for all of these steps. And I am going to apply that to the beginning part of this lid. Like I said, I am going to be putting some shimmers over the top, but I was just wanting you to see this matte palette in action by itself, in case it was something you were interested in. Of course, he has two other palettes as well. This is the light, then I think he has one for medium and then dark as well. So there are other options available. But of course I'm going to go for this one because this is right up my alley as far as the depth level that I prefer. See, that is just pretty. That is everything I want right now. Okay, we're going to keep that same brush. We're making this very simple, and I'm going to go into this shade right here in the palette. I'm trying to use all of these, and that deepest shade I'm going to be using as liner. I dipped into that once because I know it's pigmented. Like, yeah, just that once is giving me enough. And we're going to just apply that all over the lower lash line, or all the way across, I should say. Okay, now before I go in with that deepest shade as liner, I'm going to take, I think because this is such a very neutral eye, I think I'm going to take the In Your Dreams one because the other one's very pink, which would be beautiful over this too, but I think I need to go with the more neutral of the two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shade in the duo that's just a little bit deeper than this one. I'm going to pick that one up first. And what I'm going to do is apply it right here. Look at that. I'm going to apply that right here. And it is sparkly. Sparkles are going everywhere. I do not care though. That is so beautiful. Gosh, I wish you could see how sparkly that is in person. My camera does not do it justice. That is absolutely beautiful. I can just imagine wearing this and you walk out there in that sunlight, or you walk into like the appropriate, you know, lighting. I wish I could show you how pretty that is. It is so sparkly. Yes, sparkles are going to go all over my face. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. It's not going to stop me. Not to mention, I've really been into sparkle lately. If I want sparkle all over my face, I'm gonna do it. This is what I want to wear every day. I don't necessarily mean the Patrick Ta stuff, I just meant neutral mattes and sparkly eyeshadow toppers. So pretty. Then I'm going to go into this shade right here. And I'm not even picking up much of these at all. So we're going to apply that on this beginning portion. Kind of rub some off a little bit on the palm of my hand. I wish I could show you how beautiful these are and how sparkly. They're very similar in tone though, so honestly, probably could have really just done with a single instead of a duo of these because they look very similar. Does it bother me that much? No, because I'm wanting that pretty neutral sparkle, so it doesn't really bother me that they look very similar, but I know that that might bother somebody, especially since they are $42, so I'm mentioning anything I'm noticing. Now, I like to apply a little bit down, and then kind of press like my finger into my palm here a little bit, and then kind of go back in. But yeah, they look very, very similar on the eyes. Now in a swatch, you can see a little bit of an undertone difference, but on the eyes, they look very similar. Of course, keep in mind, they are going over the top of eyeshadow as well. It doesn't bother me. They're just so beautiful and so sparkly. So we're going to go back into his eyeshadow palette, and on a ColourPop E6, which is just a small angle brush, I am going to go into the deepest matte shade. We're going to use that as some liner, because that is more than likely the way I would wear this shade anyway. Probably the look you saw me create today is the look I would always go for with this palette, unless I'm doing a one and done. Okay, so here's this eye look. It's so pretty. So pretty and sparkly and neutral, simple. That's what I love. So now I'm going to take my new Makeup by Mario. This is the Perfect Brown. We're going to apply that. Okay, it took me a second to find my eyelash curler here, because I definitely need an eyelash curler. My lashes are pretty curl challenged. I'm going to apply this with you here on camera, at least on the one eye, and then I'll do the other eye off camera. I got to figure out what blush I want to wear. Since I'm wearing Patrick Ta on the eyes, I might wear his new blush duo. Now, I have already set my face with powder, but I haven't found any issues lately with applying cream products over the top of powder, as long as I'm careful. Now, I have tried the Patrick Ta blush duos, and I've tried the Glossier ones, so it's not a matter of, you know, testing the formula, because I already know they're good. It's just a matter of what do I want to wear first. You'll see it's a little bit more of a wet formula when you first start out. It's not like unbearable, mind you, but this is one that definitely, the more age it gets on it, the better it is, and it's a really lovely mascara. And I was so excited to see him release it in the brown, because I was hoping he would. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and apply it to the lower lashes as well on this side, so you can see it in action there as well. Probably getting a few little marks on that lower lash line too. It's okay. Okay, so there we have one coat and then nothing. So beautiful. I just think it's a beautiful mascara. And as far as the shade, it's definitely like a brown black. It's not like true brown, at least not on my lashes. Keep that in mind. Now, if you have more like blonde lashes or lighter colored lashes, it might look like a true brown on you. But I mean, I can tell that it is softer than the black one I have. I mean, as far as the shade. It's not soft as far as the formula being exactly the same so far. I'll see how it wears, of course, today, but it's so beautiful. I really do like this mascara. So I'm going to apply that on my other eye, finish that up, and I'm going to apply some bronzer because I didn't pick up... No, actually, wait. Maybe I could try Gale as a bronzer shade today with you on camera. So you know what? I'll do that. Let me do the other eye with my mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's both sides of the mascara, just one coat on both sides. That's all I like to apply personally, since my lashes are pretty curl challenged. Now, I don't know how this is going to work. It might work well as a bronzer, it might not, but we're going to try it because that way I can use at least one other blush on my face. So I am going to take this Rare Beauty, this is the Soft Pinch blush brush. I am going to pick it up like that. We're going to see. I might have to go in with a little bit more, because sometimes this brush, it's hard to tell. And I'm going to kind of stipple it in a little bit here. Of course, keep in mind I am wearing powder and stuff too, and that might kind of tone down the shade. I know it definitely did for another cream blush I was applying. When you apply it on unset foundation, it's way more pigmented than when you apply it over powder. But honestly, it's a perfect tone for bronzer. Now, I think it would make an absolutely stunning everyday, goes with anything blush, but that's really pretty, as you can see without. I love a good multitasking product. I've mentioned that before here on my channel. I do like when I can use products in more than one area. And it's making the perfect bronzer shade, but at least now you can kind of see it in action. So I'm not just using one blush. I love that shade. It's so stunning. And you probably could build it up if you want, but I like this level here, especially for like a bronzer. But I think Gale might be the lightest shade, if I'm not mistaken. I might have that wrong, but it's so pretty. And it's like a tone that I think would go with anything if you applied it on the cheeks because it's so pretty and lovely. Okay, I really like that as bronzer. It's like the perfect tone for my skin tone for a bronzer. Of course, I'll be trying out Bloom in a future video. Okay, I'm going to take that same Rare Beauty brush and we're going to go into the Patrick Ta Duo, which is out of office. Now, he applies the powder first and then the cream on top, so I guess I'll do that. So hopefully, I think this shape will be okay for the powder. I am going to tap some of that on my hand first. I don't know how pigmented it'd be. Let me get my little up close mirror here so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Keep kind of tapping that off onto the back of my hand. His blushes are very pigmented. They're absolutely stunning though, but they are extremely pigmented. Because you can see, I just tapped into that blush once and look at that. It's a really beautiful shade though. So pretty, but pigmented. Like, look at that. I'm going to take my powder brush and just kind of go over it a little bit. Of course, I feel like this doesn't tone things down too much. I guess I'd have to actually go in and apply more powder on the brush. Okay, I really pressed that into my hand for this side. Let's see if that applies it a little bit more lighter. Probably not, but I'm going to try it anyway. Nope. I won't tell you. If you want an extremely pigmented blush, his blushes. These and the Tower 28 powder blushes. Well, actually the Tower 28 cream blushes. Those are some of the most pigmented ones I've ever tried. At least at Sephora. Well, the Rare Beauty ones. The liquid blushes from Rare Beauty. I forgot about that. They're very pigmented too. Okay, now I wiped that brush off on a silicone mat and we're going to take it and go into the cream side. There again, I dipped once and I'm tapping a little bit on the hand and then we're going to go over it. Just a little bit though, because I'm not applying too much, because especially on this side where I feel like I've already applied a lot, I only tap once. So I feel like you can't really see it much. It's adding a little bit of a glow back, but not like a lot. But I'm just barely tapping because I feel like I had already gone overboard. Okay, and then I did take a little bit of my Tower 28 Get Set powder and kind of pressed it more into here. Kind of went over that a little bit, but not too much. So now I'm going to take this Patrick Ta gloss. I'm going to apply it by itself because I just want to see what it looks like on its own because I've never tried one of his glosses before. It smells kind of like a minty scent. Ooh, that's pretty. Ooh. And I do want to say that the Glossier lip balm, the longer it was on, the more I couldn't like taste it anymore. So that's a positive thing. Okay, so here we have this completed makeup look. Honestly, I've loved everything I've tried. These are absolutely beautiful products, but they're products that I've tried before, just in different shades, so I knew that they would be products that I would really love and enjoy, but I'm still happy to see how beautifully they apply. I mean, these are beautiful. This is the type of makeup that I want on an everyday basis. I've loved everything I've tried. The Glossier balm, I need to keep using that for a little while. That's the only thing so far that I'm a little bit about, like, I need to think about that one a little bit more. But the rest of the stuff is very, very pretty. And I love that the shade Gale from Glossier can be used as a bronzer on me because I love a good multitasking product. And I think it's a beautiful tone, too. Like, I really love that. I really like this makeup. The eyeshadow is stunning. That Patrick Ta palette, the 6-pan, is really nice. It's just a beautiful, simple neutral palette. I do like that it's more compact, just 6 shades. It's everything that I would personally need. And then I wish I could show you these sparkly shades in person. They are so beautiful. Like, I'm just turning my head like that and I can see them in like my mirror just sparkling. They're so beautiful. I just don't think my camera can do them any justice. But I'm really happy with everything I've tried so far. I'm still going to continue testing out that Glossier Balm. I really like the product. It's just when that taste gets into your mouth, it's very unpleasant. But other than that, I like the formula itself and the way it looks on the lips. Now that I have all of the stuff that I purchased myself, I want to talk about these 3 products here from Iris and Romeo that were sent to me. I'm not obligated to make any kind of post about them or anything. I just want to mention that. But I wanted to save this to the very end in case you're not interested in hearing reviews on PR, which I understand. Not everybody is. The first thing they sent me was their foundation. Well, I call it a foundation. It's definitely like a tinted sunscreen or a tinted moisturizer. It's their Best Skin Days. It says 5-in-1 skincare, dewy coverage, broad spectrum SPF 30. I chose the shade number 1. It does come into, I think this is glass, I don't know. It feels very heavy. It's very weighted. I mean, the feeling itself is very luxurious. And it just comes in a packaging like this. And then when you open it up, it does have like a little thing over to cover it up, so I guess it doesn't dry out. And the product itself looks like that right there. It's definitely kind of like a moussey texture. I am wearing it today as my foundation or tinted moisturizer, whichever you want to call it. While I think it looks nice on the skin, I've had no issues with applying it or anything thus far. I've been using it, I've been wearing it for a couple of days now, because I did not want to get on here and just wear it once and then give a review, because I think it's almost a $50 product. I think it's like in the $48 price range, but I'm just going to round that up to $50 just to make things simple. For $50, no, I would not buy it myself. I would not use my money to buy it. I don't think it's a bad product, but it doesn't wow me enough to say I'd want to purchase it myself. So, I mean, I think for the right person, it might be okay. I have had no issues with the way it wears on my skin or anything like that, but I'm not wowed by it to the point where I would be like, yeah, pay $50 for it. No, I don't think so. I think it's okay. I think it looks nice. It's very pretty on the skin, but for what it is, I would not buy it myself, not for $50. Now, the next thing they sent me is their Best Skin Days Treatment Concealer. I also picked that up in the shade 1. It looks like this right here. I don't know if this is glass or not, but it's very weighted. Like, the feeling of these products is very luxurious, and the little wand on it looks like that right there. The concealer, I would buy. I would purchase the concealer with my own money because I've really been enjoying the concealer. I've tried it now as eyeshadow primer, I've tried it as concealer, of course, and then I've also tried it as a foundation, like wearing it all over my face. I've loved it as all 3, and that is kind of the test I give new concealers when I test them out. Can it be worn all 3 ways and work very well? And this one does, and I really do actually like the concealer. I think it looks nice on the skin. It's not too drying or anything, and it's not heavy. I think you could build it up to be a lot more coverage, but just with the small amount that I'm applying, I think it looks absolutely beautiful on the skin. So I would buy the concealer myself. I do like the concealer. I like the concealer better than the foundation. So, I mean, if I'm going to pick between the 2, I would go for the concealer. And the only reason, by the way, why I'm mentioning these in this video is because these products are also sold at Sephora, so I figured this will be a good time to mention them instead of a standalone video. And the next product they sent was their Ceramide Multi Balm, which is for cheeks, lips, and face. And it's basically like a lip and cheek stick. I picked out the shade Mood Boost, which the shade is absolutely lovely. Now, there is a scent to this product. Now, on the packaging, they say there's no synthetic fragrances or anything, so I think it's just the way the ingredients smell, but it does say this has mango butter in it, so I'm guessing that's where that's coming from. But this is the shade here that I chose, and I will say that it is very lovely. on the cheeks. If you love a nice glowy blush stick, then you might enjoy it. It's kind of another product though. I haven't really been into the blush sticks lately. I much prefer either a powder blush or kind of like these from Glossier. This kind of almost, I don't want to say putty, but you know what I mean. Like kind of almost like a putty cream to matte kind of formula, that kind of vibe. I also like the Danessa Myricks, her low lighter, that kind of putty. I've been more so into that than I am these stick products. Now, I think it's beautiful on the cheeks and it's really pretty on the lips. I will say that I don't typically wear these types of products on my lips. I mostly just reserve them for blush. I think it's pretty, I think it's nice, but it's another product that I wouldn't personally buy with my own money simply because it's just not a product that I've been that into right now. I don't think it's a bad product by any means, but out of the three they sent me, the concealer is my favorite, and I would buy the concealer myself. I do really like the concealer. The other two products are nice. They have not done anything wrong or anything on my skin. I just want to point that out. It's not a matter of that they wore badly or anything. It's just a matter of preference and just kind of thinking about it from the mindset of, would I buy this myself? And the only product out of the three of these that I would is the concealer. I do really like that. But the other two, decent, but I wouldn't purchase them with my own money. But I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already. And make sure you hit the bell icon so you are alerted to all my future uploads. And follow me on Instagram at jessicadeerly, and all of these products will be listed and linked for you below. They are affiliate links, so if you click through and purchase, I do earn a small commission. And if you choose to do so, thank you so much for supporting me and my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!